What is up, everyone? We got any primers? Any T1 follow copers here? As just in case you guys didn't see, Dom just fired off a calling out T1 because he's not getting the follow back for all the traffic that he's sent his way for
Can't
the
believe it.
MSI prediction that he gave him. No follow back. Come on, T1.
Yeah, these motherfuckers. I create so much content around T1. I put clips out. I now have content on Billy about T1. I've got YouTube content. I'm all over the place. We're going global with the T1 content, and they still haven't hit me with the follow back.
I can't fucking believe it. Yeah, I'm gonna have to have a talk with Joe Marsh about this next week.
Joseph Marsh.
I even unblocked Joe Marsh. Like, I don't get what the fuck is going on.
Wait, Tyler blocked Joe Marsh?
No, I what? He did?
What?
I thought
How
that's
can
what
you
you just
tell?
said. Did I just like literally hear? Oh.
He said,
all right.
Even I unblocked Joe Marsh. That's what he said.
Oh my God! I heard Tyler won when he said even I. That's weird. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Next diagnosis is your hearing. That's all we're saying.
Blind, deaf, gay, autistic, like
Deaf. Oh yeah.
Deaf.
No, if anyone comes at you for the rest of your life, you'll have all the fucking cards ready to go.
Oh boy.
Uncancelable.
This is it. How you been? How have you been, LS? People were worried earlier about everything that was happening, and so kind of just how you been?
So, okay, look, normally I always get memed for telling you exactly what's going on, but I think it's because I realized that I'm just willing to say what's been going on, whereas, like, normal people don't say if, like, semi-non-good things are going on.
This is true.
That's true,
But
right?
I'm curious. I'm always curious
right.
about why.
I know,
Yeah.
but I really struggle not being transparent, which I think is why people always say there's always something going on with me. But what I realized is that people always have something going on. They just don't say it if it's not actually really big.
That's right. This
So,
is true.
anyways, what's going on with me is so for the past like 2 months, I've been having really, really bad energy levels, really bad, like to the point where I'm struggling to wake up. I'm struggling to stay awake even when I'm awake, and I'm like guzzling energy drinks and like all this other stuff. So I had like the detox on energy drinks and coffee, right? The whole 2 weeks that I was really sick. So nothing happened there. And my blood work all came back, that my thyroid tests, all this other stuff. And I got diagnosed with SWSD yesterday, which is shift work sleep disorder, which basically is that my circadian rhythm is like super fucked up from all the years of co-streaming. And the 3 doctors that I all talked to yesterday told me that I have to give up a region. And I said, that's not happening. So I have to get on a drug called like Modafinil or something. And then I can try to like assess this in the off season when there's the break.
But that sounds like there's progress there. That sounds like there's an understanding of what's going on and a process moving forward, which is good.
Right.
I think it's really wholesome that the league viewers care enough about LS to stop watching LCS only so he can have one less region to watch because of his new sleep disorder. Like, that is like really nice of them. I didn't think they had it in them.
What? So LEC that starts earlier, I guess, for you. So then you get to go to bed at a somewhat normal time.
If I only did LEC and LCK, everything would actually be easy. Because I would go to sleep at like 6 a.m. and then I'd wake up at like, I don't know, 1, 2, and LCK is at 4. So, you know, that's easy. Assume the same for Dom too, no?
Yeah.
It's like easy to do LPL plus LEC, no?
Yeah, it's pretty easy. I mean, my sleep schedule is not that fucked anyway, because like it's only during LCS days where I get like the 3, 4, 5 hours sleep. Pretty much it.
You had sleep apnea, right?
I still have it. I just got a CPAP.
You CPAP it. It pumps the air into his...
You saw my CPAP, right, when you were here?
Yeah, it was fucking Darth Vader-esque.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Or like a fighter pilot, I'd say. It's more like a fighter pilot, you know, like
How
if
big
you've
of
seen
a-
like those.
No, it wasn't a mask. It's like a little, it's just like nose pillows. It's just a little thing that goes under your nose. I mean, it has like tubes connected to it, but it's just like something that goes under your nose.
How big of a game changer is it?
It's 100% effective at treating sleep apnea. It just 100% just makes all your symptoms go away. Yeah, it's just a cure.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it literally just pumps air into your lungs. So even if you stop breathing, you're just still getting oxygen. So you just sleep deeper and like all that stuff just ends up going away. It's kind of OP. Most people just can't sleep with it, but for me, like, my sleep apnea was really bad. So, I mean, the reason why I had to start using it is because they said, like, if you keep on sleeping the way you're sleeping for the next 5 to 7 years, you will develop heart problems, guaranteed, because your heart has to work so hard while you're sleeping. Instead of like your body repairing itself, like your heart is pumping and your heart is like freaking out every time you stop breathing because it thinks that you're dying. So like you're just under so much like stress. So
right.
I mean, I just started using the CPAP. I've been using it a year. It just 100% cured it.
That's amazing.
Dom, it's your turn for the Kumbaya circle that we do every show. How are you feeling? How you doing?
Doing good. Same old. Doing LPL, doing LEC, doing LCS.
All right, sweet. Yeah. Let's see. I've been good. I traveled a lot the last like 3 or 4 weeks, and a friend got married in New York. Got to see some best friends in New York, New Jersey. Got to scope out the bus system. So if you're going to Newark for the finals, I may be a man of the people and just taking a bus because it's kind of easy. And then doing the interviews, LCS interviews, my YouTube channel, getting the content again. So that's been fun. Had the Fudge Factor on there. Fudge is such an easy interview, man. We just get to talk. A lot of the other players, it feels like an interview. With Fudge, he's just a stream of consciousness and is able to shift gears very quickly from like being goofy to being serious to talking about like some, like he was talking about when he cried over at MSI and then back to, the story with Perks and Vulcan almost getting into a fight, which is pretty good. So, but yeah. Other than that, things are pretty good. You know what else has been pretty good?
What?
Cloud9, EG. But I guess
that's the transition.
That's the transition. Let's go to the LCS as a whole, because LCS as a whole hasn't been as pretty good. And I don't want to stay on this too much because I feel like it's been widely talked about in terms of where the league is at in terms of viewership, where the league is at in terms of play. This has been a season where the skill level, I think, is further behind, probably the most far behind it's been behind our other major region peers. And, we had the walkout that happened. But I wanted to get your thoughts on the season so far, because we're almost a third done. We are a third done so far of the regular season here, LS.
I mean, I think obviously I might have to go change my shirt actually. What is take? I think like obviously FlyQuest, it's actually kind of scary, but top 8 is playoffs, right? So I think it's gonna be really hard for Fly to not make playoffs in general, right? There's a lot of surprises this season. I think everywhere, right? Like TSM actually almost being in the top 5. TSM actually probably are a top 5 team. I think that they're actually probably better than Dignitas, right? So I think that TSM is like a top 5 team.
Just wait until Ruby shows up. He'll fix that.
Yeah, just wait till Ruby shows up, exactly. Team Liquid looked like they were finding their form somehow after spring and MSI break and stuff, and now I don't know. The TL game just looked really, really weird. The EG stuff, I think, is so amazing, though, because everyone counted them out in the offseason, right? Like, when they picked up the roster that they did, or most people counted them out. And I've been talking to Unforgiven a ton this past week. And dude, I think EG is going to be really fun to watch in coming weeks, because I think that they're going to have a lot of exciting stuff compared to other teams. And then I just like, in general, the way that they're actually playing compared to other teams.
That wasn't bad. That wasn't as bad as I thought it'd be. Tom?
I've been pretty happy with LCS. I mean, I think the first day was pretty painful because there was a lot of stomps, but overall, I mean, you're getting what you hope for out of the league. I mean, TL looking better. It's obviously good for the narratives because, I mean, they were one of the teams that came in with the most hype to the season because they were doing like Operation Korea, and it obviously didn't work out. They didn't even make playoffs in spring, but Summit is looking better on that team. I'm excited about that. Jojo is, probably the best North American player at this point, outside of maybe Blabber. Like he's just up there, right? Like Jojo is just a monster, and it really sucked that he had a down split last split. Went to Korea, put in a lot of hours, hit high rank there. I think he hit like top 6 on the Korean server in less than a month. Like he was absolutely smurfing. Came back and he was just completely informed. It just looks like old Jojo again. So I've been happy with how the teams have been playing the most part. I think there's still the same issues that we've had in the West forever. You feel like when you watch NA teams, you don't want to see them playing Annie. You don't want to see them playing Nico. You don't want to see them playing anything that requires flanks. front to back comps, Azir, like these are the types of champions that we want to see in the LCS, because people just can't really they have separation anxiety. They're not able to separate from their teams and attack from multiple angles. Like, it's just not there. So overall, I mean, I think this is what you expect from the split. I mean, Cloud9 and Golden Guardians are top 3. It's what you'd expect. EG's higher than people expected, but outside of that, I mean, I don't think that anyone outside of FlyQuest is massively different from where we predicted them. And obviously, FlyQuest, it's just super hard to watch because it's like watching Vitality. It's the same thing. You watch these super teams that are failing. Their imports just look so much worse than when they arrived. It's really a train wreck. And I don't think it has anything to do with Vulcan, really. I think if they were playing with Ayla instead, the team would look just the same. They'd be 0-6 just the same. So I know that's a narrative because they like flame each other or whatever, but this team, it just looks like they have the import syndrome. I had it in season 5. I know how it is. Shout out Piglet.
10 minutes, Dom. 10 minutes? You couldn't give me 10 minutes without a Piglet shout out. All right, cool.
Yeah, fuck that
guy. Les, can you diagnose what's going on with this squad?
The FlyQuest stuff? Okay, so obviously, look, I do have to be a little bit reserved because I am privy to like some stuff, right? That's behind the scenes. So there's that. But I think in general, like, I mean, I'll just say like my own, the stuff that I say during the co-streams, right? I think that they have lost, in my opinion, they've lost 5 out of 6 drafts, which is like really problematic when you consider that it just keeps happening, and even TSM is managing to win drafts. Their identities in the drafts are really different, like the champions that they're picking in what order versus like what they're up against, etc. Prince is looking way worse this split than he looked last split, even when he was like starting to falter. So I think that's really bad. Then you move on to like Vikla. Vikla doesn't look like he's playing like at an import level. Then you have stuff like Spica going on stage playing Ivern. Now everyone knows that Ivern's in a really, really good state right now, right? And I think that a lot of people expected to see a lot more Ivern these upcoming weeks, whatever, this last week. Spica went on stage, he played Ivern, doesn't know Ivern's clear. And I think that's actually a really big problem. How do you literally fundamentally not know the champion's opening clear? I think that's a really like big standout thing from like practice and like preparation. I think in general, like FlyQuest are completely shitting the bed. I think that there's other problems. Like when Vulcan was picked up, I've always spoken in certain ways about Vulcan, not like necessarily negative, but there's limitations to like evidently what he can play. I think that they're extremely disjointed. It looks like they don't have proper prep going into games. It looks like the players are also lost in game. And the thing that I keep tweeting about, and I've even like messaged Papa Smithy, is like, who is the culprit behind the Dragon, Herald, and like Tower Dive calls? How are they so consistently fucking terrible? It is the weirdest thing in the world, because I'm convinced that it's one person. And I don't know who it is, and I haven't like actually tried to find out. But no, it's fucking awful, man. Their game knowledge in various game states is just absent. Like they're griefing.
So then I think my next question after that is to find a solution, a theoretical solution, because we're not going to be able to find the solution. The guys on the team are going to be the ones doing it. Has there been a start as bad as this globally? We can start with the LCS, but I think the answer is no. But then globally.
For a team like this?
Yes, for a team like this.
Hanwha Life, no?
This Hanwha Life or last?
I think
wasn't Hanwha Life at 1.0-4, and I mean they're kind of like a pseudo super team.
Yeah, but 1-4. Zero
in 4. But 0-6 is only happening because we are having 2 super weeks, right? 0-4 is also the equivalency of two weeks in LCK, right? So it's kind of the same, but also going 0-4 is going 0, like because it's best of 3 is like, I mean, I guess
I see.
But yeah,
I mean, yeah, but okay, yes, but I don't know. 0-6 still is like they're gonna count the wins and losses. They're not gonna count the weeks of being behind on a when we look back on everything, as well as the fact that this is a team that wasn't expected to go middle of the table. This was a team that was expected to go and win, and instead it's imploded. Right. I think that's another thing. Like I think we had our reservations about Hanwha Life when they made their moves to build their super team, but we thought this was objectively an upgrade. This was solidifying the role with one of the best North American players, regardless of role, in recent history. I'll say that. So I think that was kind of the thinking. Can you think of a as worse of a start, Dom? You said Vitality, and I think that's fair, and we've discussed that. But in the LCS, can you remember one?
I mean, there was the TL with Broxah. That's what I think about.
That was pretty bad. That was pretty bad. Yeah.
Where Alice and I were criticizing Broxah, but then he proved us wrong by going to CLG, getting 10th place and retiring. So we had to take the L on that. We had to take the L, and now, we've apologized and we've moved on. So that was pretty bad with that team, because especially when you consider the fact that that team had won championships the year before and won championships the year before that, you would think that one change would not affect it to this degree, but yeah, I mean, it did. So that was probably the other one that I thought was really, really bad.
Brox is such a good guy, man. We can't let that one go. All right.
Yep. I love how that was the narrative that was then pushed.
This is something that I want to talk about, because, yeah, sorry. Go.
No, I was just gonna say that was the narrative that was pushed, right? It's like Dom and LS just hate Broxah as a person because they're bad people and he's a good guy.
Yep.
And then it was like, wait, no, he's just inting the games, and we're just calling him out on that. There was nothing that we were talking about personally with him at all the entire time. It was only gameplay related, and then he just continued to run it down. I don't know. It was such a weird arc of co-streaming. But Ellis, you were gonna say something.
No, the thing I wanted to say is I think it's really weird. This is something I encountered a lot lately, and I had conversations about with various people. Is if you say something that is either factually true or you can substantiate it, etc. I don't think that it should matter that it's negative. It doesn't mean anything on a personal level. I don't think that Broxah should be. I think we talked about this back when we were having this conversation. Just because of how he is as a person or his personality does not make him immune from having his gameplay talked about or broken down.
Of course not. Of course not.
Right.
But yeah. I mean, I think it was also combined with the fact that it was pretty soon after, relatively speaking, to his run with Fnatic in 2018, where people were still considering him. He's one of the best junglers in the world. So I don't think that people had fully accepted his level at that time. Right. I think that there was still a lot of people that just thought that there's no way a player that played in those games, that played in world finals, would be a bottom tier jungler in LCS 2 years later. That just didn't make sense to people. So they had to find another reason why we would say things like that, our hatred for him as a person, rather than the games. It always came down to weird arguments where it's oh, well, his coaches are forcing him to play these. He's not a Lee Sin and Graves 2 trick. He's forced to play Lee Sin and Graves because of his coaches. We saw in Fnatic 2 years ago that he could play Karthus and Elise and all these types of things. Right. Where in reality, 2 years, playing something 2 years ago doesn't mean you could play it now at all. Champions change, item builds change, role in the games change, the way you path changes. There's a lot of things that will change how a champion is played. It's not you could play it mechanically at one point and you can play it for the rest of your life.
Right.
It sounds a little similar to how we felt about Facecheck and Facecheck coming over so far, right? And literally world champ on that on this TL team, and he's playing better this split than he was last split, but it's the level of the league has gotten worse. Plus they did their boot camp and they are just ahead of everyone else. But yeah, sorry, Broxah, that was just a memory lane down being a good guy. I did some digging. This team was not as hyped, but still finished second place after starting 1-5. I think
the Cloud9 in 20.
Yeah, 2-6.
Yeah.
2-6, Cloud9 in 2018. But that was the Golden Glue / Jensen kind of year where he came in. This was the benched, right? This is the guys that got benched and then they laughed about it. Is that what it was?
Yeah, I mean, so pretty much they started bad. They got benched because they weren't playing solo queue. Then Reapered, played with the new team. Everyone started tryharding in solo queue again. Jensen got top of the NA solo queue ladder. Then they brought him back, and then the team was good.
Yeah, that might be the only example of it that we've seen so far. But yeah, I'm just going through the seasons, and after week 3, basically everyone that was going to be bad was still bad. Yeah, can't find one. So this has just been historically bad. I threw this out there on Power Spike the other day, but there are two other teams, LS, that are 0-6 currently in the world. 0-6. One is from Brazil, one is from Latin America. Do you know who they are?
Yeah, let me just name who they are.
Why would anyone know who they are?
Why would anyone except for like fucking Forrest know who that is? Like,
all right, I just was throwing that out there. It was Kaboom and Leviathan.
Kaboom!
See?
Oh,
I was like,
my
you might know
God,
Kaboom.
they fell off that much after what they did to Alliance.
Yep, Kaboom and Leviathan are the two other teams at 0-6 right now. There are a couple of teams that are still winless, but their seasons haven't taken off yet. They're still like 0-2, 0-3. So dubious group to be in with FlyQuest right now. Let's move to a happier story. Team Liquid and Evil Geniuses. Let's start with those two guys because they battled it out in the final match of the week, I think, last week at 4-1 going into it. Two teams that are bucking the trend here. What do you make of these two squads here, Dom? TL with the synergy and having the same team, and EG blowing it up and building around JoJo.
Well, I think EG is more legit than TL because, simply put, EG has a mid laner. And I still think that when you look at TL, Summit is playing a lot better, and it looks like the team is a little bit more cohesive than before, but Harry is still a big issue on the team. He's just not mechanically proficient enough to excel or like win lanes or give you like a point of strength within games in the LCS. So I think that's a big issue for them. And I think the way they're trying to band-aid it isn't really working. I mean, who knows what they're going to do in upcoming weeks, because we all remember Harry's Azir from Spring Split. I don't know if that's going to be a champion that he'll pick up. Obviously, the champion's been buffed a bunch of times, and now people are playing it again. And then we saw him play the Annie, right? We've seen him play these engaged supports. Or these engaged mid laners, these like supportive mid laners, and he's just not able to find the engages. He just doesn't see the game like that. Like, he'll be split off, his whole team will die, he'll walk in too late, like he'll go too early. Just he doesn't have the ability to process the game at that level and find those those profitable situations for his team. So I don't know what they're gonna do to fix this problem. I think EG, like, they have some problems of their own, but overall, I mean, if JoJo is going to play at this level, this team is going to be fine. They're going to be good enough to, get top 3 in this region, which is what I'm hoping for, man. I would like to see EG go to Worlds. It'd be nice to see an NA team, I guess, with one real import. I mean, it would be nice to see that team go to Worlds.
What do you think of these two squads, LS?
I think that TL was looking really good in the early weeks of LCS, and it looked like they were really cohesive, and it looked like, Facecheck was at least performing serviceable, right? More than he ever had in spring, and that he was going to finally be able to do something. It looked like the bottom lane was also doing really well. J was doing okay. And then Summit, I think, really was the big factor again, where it looked like he was starting to return to 2022 Spring Summit, at least pre-playoffs, right? But then they had the two really bad games that ended up happening that I think really still highlights some of like Team Liquid's potential weaknesses and things that can end up happening to them. So I think in that regard, the next upcoming games that they're going to play are going to be really important to pay attention to and watch, and what's going to go on there. I completely agree with Dom about Airy, in that he's not mechanically proficient enough. And the Azir thing, I don't know. I mean, we're seeing it in every single region. In theory, B1 Azir or blind Azir shouldn't be a thing with like Ziggs existing, because the way that they balanced Azir is they made it so that his W is more impactful and that he lost his Q poke in lane. So without the Q poke in lane, his ability to resist the control mage or like the artillery mages is way harder. He basically can't do it against like Ziggs, Vel'Koz, like these types of champions.
We're
now,
gonna see Balula Vel'Koz versus Ziggs or versus Azir, guaranteed. The split.
Yeah, so I think like in NA I think it's gonna be really rare though to see Ziggs mid or Vel'Koz mid like come out often, and so in that regard, Azir's probably gonna be fine. So it'll be interesting to follow TL. For EG, like I said at the very beginning of the show, I'm excited for the way that the team is playing, and like I said, I've been talking to Unforgiven a ton the past like week and a half or something, and Unforgiven, I mean, I never really talked to him. He just started showing up in my co-streams like a week ago, right? Prior to that, we actually only had a negative interaction on Twitter about a year ago, where he flamed me and I flamed him. So it's amazing, right? So like that's just how it goes. But after talking to him, he might be the most open-minded AD carry player that I've ever talked to since Sven. So I think that we might see some weird stuff out of EG, which is kind of cool.
What does EG play? They play TSM, Immortals, and then Cloud9. So maybe they do require something weird against Cloud9, or they get to play probably the second worst team in the league and Immortals and want to try something and experiment a little bit. Okay, I don't want to ruin their draft plans or some of the things that they talked about, but I assume some LS type stuff might come out of the bot lane then. Yeah?
Perhaps.
Okay, there we go. You've had your bases covered there.
Let them cook. Yeah. Let them cook.
Let's dive into this topic here, LS, and I want your take first because I know Dom's on it. Rich and Dignitas, but more specifically, Rich and the MVP hype that's around him and the way that he's been playing, the way that he's given Dignitas some firepower that they just did not have before. How do you feel about his play and how it's impacted Dignitas?
So Rich is pretty interesting because in LCK and then coming off of like LPL and stuff, Rich has proficiency, right, as like a mechanical player. But I think what's happening in NA is Rich is showing up in a way that an import can show up, which just makes him like relatively better to most other players in the region. And I think that combined with the fact that Dig had some really nice drafted advantages in some of their games, I think that is what is leading to some of the stuff that's happening. But in some of their losses, Rich has also looked not very impressive. So I don't understand. I feel like part of the hype that he's getting is that Dignitas were just utter shit in spring. And now they're like getting some wins. And so you have to allocate it to somewhere. And then obviously Rich is the new face. So they're going to give it there. But he is looking good in some of the wins. But it is 6 games and yeah.
And then Dom, go ahead. People that don't know about your feelings on Rich.
I don't know. It's crazy that he goes from being like, so he was actually really good in spring split of LPL 2022. He was really good. And then he kind of collapsed in playoffs and entered rookie like most people do in playoffs when rookie's playing for some reason. I don't know why everyone hates this guy, but everyone on his team is like, they're all contractually obligated to start inting at some point whenever it gets to crunch time. So he entered rookie in playoffs. In summer, he had a horrible split, continued into playoffs, stays on the team. In 2023 spring, he gets to play 1 game. He got pretty much completely benched for Invincible. And it just looked like he just wasn't able to play LPL anymore. Comes to NA, one of the best top laners instantly. So I'm not going to even give a take. I'm just going to point out what happened, and you can take from it whatever you want. He came to LCS. He's one of the best top laners. He couldn't even get a spot on a literal bottom tier team in LPL. Those are just facts. Kind of like Gory. Gory did the same thing.
This is true. But V5 was good. They were a top tier team, weren't they?
They were a top tier team when Rich was playing well in spring, and then in summer they were no longer a top tier team. I mean, they placed top 4 technically in regular season, but they just lost in playoffs and they were just not able to do anything. Really, that split they didn't do anything convincing, and they just completely faded off the face of the earth once rookie moved to top.
Where's our Dignitas fans? Do we have? I'm sure we have some, right? Everyone that believes in Bakery and everything he's doing over at Dignitas. Like, that's the worst general manager in the fucking league. Sorry.
What?
Bakery?
No, yeah.
Wait, did you just flame a GM?
I did.
Holy shit, Digon.
I know. Times are changing.
Where's the political correctness?
It's my villain arc, guys. It's my villain arc.
Oh my god. I think me and Dom are starting to fucking...
All I'm saying... All I'm saying...
What the fuck's going on?
I mean, number one, Dig has a history of disgusting, imports.
They're still paying Hooney.
Tell us how you
That's
guys
a lie.
really
That's a lie.
feel.
That's a lie. That's a lie. That's a lie. That's a lie.
Tell us how you really feel.
But I mean, think about their last 2 imports. Think about their last 2 big imports. They took Armut off that Mad Lion split. And then they took Blue before that when he was literally the 10th best mid laner in the region. That is who they're importing. That is who they're importing. And obviously both played in TCL and their coach coached in TCL. Nice. Then you look at Rich, and it's like, this guy was the faker of HOTS, and who is Bakery? Oh, former HOTS pro. It's just like everything that you see there, just there's something that smells off with the way they like. Might be random, man. It might be random, but it just feels like people are hiring their friends, which I know that'd be crazy.
I mean, hiring friends is fine if the friends are actually qualified.
Okay,
Right,
that's
the
what I was
friends are
gonna say.
not
That's what I was
qualified
gonna
is
say.
the main distinction.
Yeah, Marin,
Right.
like Marin as the head coach, right? Or
No, I mean the point is that they're like 10th
No, man,
place
Marin's
players. Like
the
he's
head
not
coach.
hiring like his
Oh
friends
my
that are
God,
like qualified.
don't.
He's hiring people that the only reason why they're getting the spots are because they're friends with the coach, or they're just known by the manager. Like it's very fucking weird.
I'm
Matt?
wondering, was Marin friends with anyone over at TL? That's
Yeah, he was. Yes.
with Rainover or Dodo or any of the guys.
Well, Marin's just a really good example of, I mean, just not doing any research whatsoever. Marin almost joined T1 in 2020.
As
Marin
what?
was one of the as what was the
like
title?
as positional
So
coach.
Pult was head coach.
Ooh, that's the Pult era.
I was
Holy, he could have got trucked. Martin missed out on getting trucked.
I don't know what his title would have been. Actually, but it did almost happen.
I kind of wonder what is the equivalent of getting trucked in NA. What could fans do? What could fans do here?
What could
I don't know. I mean, I think that.
Well, no, I mean, it's kind of weird because
that's our trucking.
Jeez.
in NA, like if there is unjust trucking equivalency, then a lot of personalities and like people speak up to stop it. That's what happens in NA.
Yeah,
Why doesn't it happen in Korea, LS?
Why doesn't it happen in Korea? Because the players all stay silent, and because Koreans want to avoid confrontation, so the players all stay silent. It was actually sort of like a landmark, not landmark. What is it? Hallmark? What the fuck is it? Where Faker went on stream and asked the fans not to send trucks. That happened last year.
Landmark.
The first time that a player has ever done a call to action.
Revolutionary.
Yeah, I mean, so basically, Faker went on stream and because there were threads and stuff that they were organizing another trucking, and Faker went on stream and asked them not to do it, and then they didn't do it. Weird.
The word of God.
Weird. It's almost like the people sending the trucks actually just listen to this person.
Omniscient being.
Really weird. It's almost like this person could just put out the fire probably whenever they want, but then they.
Damn.
Weird.
LS Flames Faker. Put it on a clip
I'm
channel.
not flaming him. No. What I'm saying is that
get him
What I'm
trucked.
saying, no. I'm not flaming him. What I'm saying is that Korean players should speak out more against these things. They should speak up, but they don't because they want to avoid confrontation.
I liked we have a Twitch chat viewer, friend of the Twitch chat. Here's your shout out moment. Full-time Pog saying, and Faker said unto them, thou shalt not truck. That was a good one. That's yeah. Anyway. I was just thinking about it because our fandom for like a squad like Dignitas, who has like, regardless of the state of the league or, you know, his journey, like has a player like Rich who's showing like some carry potential. Like I want to see, where's the fandom? What kind of fans do you have? I've talked about it with a couple of LCS like management before, like, hey, where do your fans come from? Who is a fan of your org? And like one of them was like, yeah, because we did something back in 2015 or whatever. And it's like,
Exactly.
that's awesome. How are you getting new fans? It's not. And so I think it requires building that fan base, a community-led fan base to, you know, feel like there's a back and forth. And I think that Cloud9 has done a good job with that. I think FlyQuest is obviously investing in that a lot recently. TL has done a great job with that. The Evil Geniuses had that, and I think it's, you know, it got cut away. But some of our other squads, like, how do you do that? How do you build that? So we'll see.
At this point, it's so hard. It's like if you used to be like a 20k Andy streamer and then you become like a fucking 1k Andy and you're like, all right, now I'm putting in effort. We're going to rebuild this from the ground up. It's like you missed your opportunity. It's like it's so hard for people to change their perceptions about you and like become fans of you when you've been like when you've been there for so long. Like they've lost all trust. Like, you could put out the best content. You could start today, put out the best content on YouTube, produced by fucking the best producers possible. People are not going to watch it. like I think at this point the only way to actually get fans in NA is if you do something internationally. If you have if people see you perform on the international stage and then you come back and people are interested in you because you did something that no one thought you were capable of.
It just feels like such a crazy game.
What LCS players are 20k Andes?
I'm just saying. What?
He was an example.
What?
Oh. No, I'm saying I didn't know if we were referring to like LCS players that were trying to do that.
No, I was just saying in general. Like imagine if you were a 20k Andy, you become a 1k Andy, and then you start like trying to produce content. That's the equivalent of what this has been. What's been going on here. It's like there was a time where people were interested in LCS. Like there was a time when people were really waiting for content. And they were watching everything that came out, and people just ignored it. And now you just look at the league, and there's just a lack of passion for sure. Like you see it on the streams, you see it, in like over on Reddit, you see it everywhere. There's just a lack of passion for the LCS.
Right.
It's a bummer because it feels like some of the content that has come out over this split and a little bit from last split. Actually, I loved pastry stuff from last split. So what was it? The pastry files. And then some of the content.
Were there any pastry files last split?
Or last year? Sorry, last year.
Didn't he stop that, or didn't they stop that, or no? What was it called?
Pastry files, I thought.
Pastry files, really?
Yeah,
nah, there's no way it was pastry files. I refuse to believe it's called the pastry files.
I think it was called the pastry files. Pastry time, pastry files.
Kind of like the Y files.
Oh, it was called the replay files.
Yeah, replay file. No way it's called the pastry files. Replay files.
That's how high regard I hold pastry. We could call it the pastry files and it could fly. But the content that has been coming out over the last 2 years has been fire. Like it's been really good, and they've been trying things. There's been some things that have missed really fucking hard. It's missed me hard, but like overall, the level of content has come out, which is better. But the fandom has fallen off because we haven't had those levels of international success to back it up. And even if we did, who knows? Maybe that doesn't. Maybe that's not the pill.
Yeah, we just have the same conversation every year with LCS. What's LCS is going down in viewership. What do we do to save it? It's like I know what we don't do. We don't have a 2-week walkout and then have it randomly start up when no one knows it's on, and then have Wednesday night games for 6 weeks. That's what's not saving the LCS. I'll tell you that.
I thought we would be able to put it on Saturdays too. Like it kind of made sense why at first it was like, okay, it'll be on Wednesdays because that's what we did last split. But why not Saturdays? Because the studio is free. I guess it does run over with LEC, but it would actually get the LEC bump.
Right. Which is what they used to do.
Wait, so the reason is Valorant actually played Saturday, Sunday in the studio? That's what goes on?
It was during the season. There was I think this Valorant season was going to be slightly longer, but it ended up having 1 week of overlap, maybe 2 weeks of overlap. But then when they finished playoffs, like this split, there's no overlap. There was no overlap because the teams were in Tokyo, Japan for Masters.
Yeah, no, because I saw that tournament going on, so I was wondering what's going on in the LCS studio, because I thought that was the reason why you couldn't do it. But are they coming back, and is there another season during when LCS would be happening?
Yeah, basically they have LCQ, which their gauntlet style thing to take the last seed in NA, but chat's saying that it's not in LA, so we'll see. But yeah, I think Saturday would have made a little bit more sense to get some of the viewership back, get the bump from LEC, and I think they just didn't do it. They didn't think
I think in LCS next year they're going to steal the LEC format.
Yeah, I think every league is doing that.
That's the rumor going around, so that they sync up and I don't have any hard credible sources on this one yet. Monty's the one that kind of pushed it, and he's claimed it, but then it gives you more international events, and you go a little bit more circuit based. It feels like you get an opportunity for Worlds. Worlds will still be the big kit and caboodle and everything that you want to win, and I hope that ourselves and other pundits and other people are able to create the right prestige for doing well at international events, even though it's not Worlds, which is why we had to hammer the guys so hard for MSI this split, going whatever just happened, 3-4 4-20 or whatever it was. Blaze it, nice.
Right.
As a whole West contingent. So hopefully, if they move to more international events and we do well, we get a little uptick and it'll be more exciting. All right. Okay. I think we went off in a little bit of the content tangent talking about LCS existential crisis as we normally do here. Let's bring it back to the teams. Where are we at with our 3, 2, and 4 squads? We've got Energy, who just now, as always, played well against Cloud9 and upset Cloud9. We've got Immortals, who started hot but have dropped 4 games in a row. And we had 100 Thieves that we all thought looked good at the beginning split because they beat FlyQuest, but now we know that FlyQuest shit a brick.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Immortals is easily the worst out of the 3. I think Immortals games, they're really tough to watch. I mean, Kenvi has not had a good game yet in 6 games. And yeah, when you're playing without a jungler, it's just not very easy to win. I think Energy is the best out of these squads. They just look the most legit to me. Even if you consider like the games that they played, I mean, they had a massive like 10k gold up throw against Immortals. And that right there would be the difference between Energy obviously being 3-3 and Immortals being 1-5. So Immortals has really only showed up in 1 game, and that was the game they completely ran at the start of the split. 100 Thieves, it's really hard to judge them because I doubt that Quid is actually this bad. Like, I don't know anything about him, really. I mean, I saw him play, like, some solo queue. I've watched some solo queue VODs, and I assume that he was just, like, choking out of his mind, and he's not this bad. But if he is that bad, then 100 Thieves is completely fucked. So I'm waiting. I'm reserving judgment until I see more of him because who knows, man? He's young. It's his first games on LCS stage. Maybe he's just mega nervous, and that's why I ran it down so hard.
What do you think of these 3 squads here, LS?
I think NRG, like the game against Cloud9 is like, it's just weird how they're so consistently a kryptonite, right? I think in that regard, it's very strange, but I do think that they're probably better than their score. I don't know how to, so, I mean, not just the 3 squads, right? But all the squads in the very bottom of the standing. Like, I don't think FlyQuest will not break into the top 5. Well, maybe actually it's not possible, right? Depending if they lose to Team Liquid, they go 0-7. Is it even possible to break top 5 at that point? Maybe not. But I think like 100 Thieves, I just leaked that, Kane's visa stuff is resolved, right? So Kane's going to arrive in an A. And what I didn't say in my YouTube video, because I think it's a little bit more inflammatory, it's not going to do anything, realistically. I don't think the coach is going to change anything whatsoever. So I don't think that like 100 Thieves is magically just going to find their stride and have things come together. I think that they have a lot of problems going on there. Immortals, I think probably should end up bottom of the standings, just in general. And then, I mean, it leaves TSM and NRG as like dark horses in their own way. I mean, Ruby's gonna arrive right to NA, and then
That's unfortunate.
Fucking. Jesus Christ, I'm allergic to that one. So Ruby's gonna arrive. And that's a fucking disaster. Yeah, I don't know. I don't expect good things from Ruby. And Insanity, I don't know if we'll actually see him again. So this might be it for TSM. This might be it.
I just think Insanity's a good player to have in the league. I've always liked when he's in the league because he's one of the few players that'll actually challenge like the meta. Like back when he started playing in 2021, I remember him playing like all these, like he was playing Karthus, for example, and he was just being able to pull out picks that were good in situations, and he's willing to like actually play weird things that make sense in some drafts. I think some of these Graves games weren't optimal, but you could tell how uncomfortable enemy mid laners were against Graves. Like they were just like,
oh
shit,
my
bro,
God.
is this like, is this like good early game? Is it good in lane? Like what the fuck do I do here? Like all the mid laners had no idea like what the trade patterns would look like. I mean, even I believe it was like in a Azir game versus Graves where he's like getting chunked out like by the Graves, and like I mean it was just crazy to watch how how uncomfortable it made other mid laners. So I like seeing Insanity in the league, and I just don't understand why we import people like Ruby. It's one of the things that triggers me the most with LCS recently. The blue import, the Armood import, the Ruby import. Like we gotta stop importing players that are literally like bottom tier in other regions. And also like I don't think that LEC is that much better than LCS right now. So if somebody is 10th place in LEC or 9th place or whatever the fuck Ruby was, yeah, I think it was 9th place because XL was 10th. If he's doing that poorly in a comparable region, why would he suddenly come to NA and be good for you? Also, when you look at TSM, I don't think that they have like some genius shot calling. When you look at the players on the team, the most experienced players are Hunter and WildTurtle. They're both reacclimating themselves to pro play. I don't think that they're going to like, you know, have an insane amount of direction, so Ruby can just exist as a mechanical player within the game where he just focuses on his lane and, you know, he's just going to be kind of guided by his teammates. So I just don't see the point of the import. I feel like Insanity is just a better player straight up.
What do you think they're thinking here, LS?
Well, I know exactly what they're thinking. I mean, I guess we've. I mean, there's enough time, right? I'll just tell you exactly what Revan's thinking.
Yeah.
So I tried to stop the Ruby acquisition multiple times, right? By literally trying to plead to Sam. I actually tried to, you know. So there's actually very, very few players. This might sound like egocentric or whatever, right? There's very, very few players that I champion ever to say that they're genuinely really, really good. I tried to recommend Revan to other Korean players that I think could be like Berserker level acquisitions, right? If you bring them into NA. And because he couldn't get any VODs and he didn't know anything and like the time limit was like really short and all this other stuff, it just didn't end up happening. But the VODs that he watched of Ruby, of scrims in LEC, like Ruby laning against like Larson and Caps, and so basically he said that on the basis of the scrim, something was just going wrong on stage, but that Ruby's like proficiency as a player is like very apparent from the scrims. He did say though that whoever performs better. So I feel like this week is like a trial for Ruby in a way. Whoever's going to end up performing better, because they're sharing scrims, I believe, in LCS. Insanity might come back, but I don't know. But yeah, that's what TSM's thinking, is that Ruby just did very, very well against Larson, Caps, and, you know, other mid laners in Europe. And that is the reason for his hiring in scrims. But TSM was under a lot of pressure to make decisions very quickly. We're literally talking like C9 levels of fast, where fucking Jack just wants to go with the roster in 24 hours. And yeah, there's no way to stop it. So that's just, you know, because Sam doesn't have any ability to stop it.
So so Mr. Samsung, for those of you that don't know, Revan.
Don't call him Samsung. Sam, don't call him Samsung, yeah?
Yeah. What is his role? I didn't even know he was over at TSM.
He's the head
He's
coach.
the head coach.
When did this happen?
What, he's been on
C9,
stage for 2
C9
weeks?
Revan became the head coach, yeah.
I don't, you know,
Bro,
a lot of the
Digon
times
covers
I'm
the
in the
LCS.
back.
He doesn't even know who the fuck is these coaches
I don't even
are.
think Digon watches LCS. I think I saw him in a Valorant competition. Like,
Yeah, I was actually hosting, trying to pay the bills while LCS was on. No, I'm fucking recording interviews, and I don't get to go out until after draft. So
okay, yeah. Don't record any
based.
interviews with any of the TSM players that won 3 games. Okay, Digon.
He recorded an Insanity interview, and I watched the whole thing, actually.
Wow.
Just saying.
Thank you.
And he recorded an Unforgiven interview, and it was the
Oh my god,
worst
the
thing I've
Unforgiven
ever
interview
seen
was
in my life.
amazing. That is the best interview that's ever happened in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
it was pretty great.
Like,
Now
I've never
that-
seen response. It's like, did you have any culture shock going in here? And he's like, the players are shit. It's like, what? Like, we said, like, is there a culture shock? Like, is there anything different? He's like, yeah, they're just worse at League. It's like, that's not that's not the culture. Like, maybe like, I don't know, like food is different, something like that. No. They're shit at League. That's the only culture he knows. Let's fucking go. That should hype me up.
One of these
Banger
days,
interview.
You know, this is, although I think I'm a very good host and I continue to grow, like next time, because, you know, I learn from my mistakes. Next time, if that shit happens, I will just go full Eric Andre mode. And I just, you know, I've got him for 10
You're
minutes.
gonna whip out your dick? Like, I think that's not gonna work.
Whoa,
Or what is
whoa,
Eric
whoa,
Andre mode?
Whoa.
Isn't that what Eric Andre does? Isn't he known for that?
No.
Yes, bro. That's literally what he's known for.
Well, the other things that he does, that he's known for. Help me, chat.
Follow for more tips. Follow for more tips, yeah. All right.
All right.
People
Well,
said no, legit. He is Kick W. See, like
All
I'm
right.
telling you, bro. I'm not making this up.
kidding. All right.
I
You
never-
never. All right. Well, next time I'll let the interview just boil over. That's
Don't
what
whip
I'll
out your
do.
dick, Digon. That's gonna make the
I
whole.
won't.
That's gonna be hard. You'll probably get banned on
I
YouTube.
won't.
This is not worth
Yeah.
it, man.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I'll get in a lot of trouble. The room isn't big enough anyway, so.
Holy
What the fuck?
Jesus. Okay.
That was based. All right.
That's why they call him D-Gon. Where do you think the D came from, bro? Let's go.
Nice. We're getting everything in a
Why do you think
season
the
start.
D is
Dick
capitalized
gone
on Twitter,
Dick
bro?
Gone, dude. That's
Are
the
you
girls
kidding
all
me?
say. They all say the
We're
dick's
back
gone.
to cock check
dude.
again.
Yeah,
God
it
damn
happened. You know, we flamed Piglet. We were late. We've had technical issues.
I blame LS because this never happens on the show with Monty. This never happens. This only happens when LS is here. Like, I don't know why it happens. Like, we do a show with Monty, it never becomes power cock or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Like
Power cock. Now we're at cock check.
yeah, always dick check.
Oh no.
I will dominate brings you all the facts.
That would be insane. That would be an insane name for a show. Power cock. We just break down the league for an hour. Let's go. All right.
Down if we have a chicken sponsorship. All right.
What does that mean?
Ella says the
you gotta
hookup.
stuff the
Get
turkey.
BBQ Oliver's over here.
Yeah. Yeah. Look me up with the Olivers. That's one of the families. All right. Who is the most on one of those shitty teams? Who is the most underrated player? Actually, who's the most underrated player in the league?
Who's the most underrated player in the league?
Yeah. Like, because I'll throw out, and chat was with me on this, but you guys were making really good points about why Immortal sucks. Tactical's been having a great year, I think. He's played his fights well. He's been put in position to carry, and holy shit, Kenvi is not helping yet. So I'd say Tactical, or maybe it is Treats who's mind controlling Tactical, but I think it's Tactical's like underrated so far. The other one is Filthy Frank, fucking Tomo, man. He's been killing it. Those are my two.
What's underrated? This is actually hard.
Yeah, I don't know who's underrated. I mean, I feel like Tactical's getting proper praise right now. Like he's not underrated. He was rated properly as terrible before the split, and then the split he's doing well. And now he's getting like rated properly again.
Can we say Sven?
What?
Yeah,
I was
we can
thinking
say
Sven.
I think
Sven.
we can say Sven because
a good one.
Sven does not get the amount of credit that I think that he should get. So it's always really weird. He's like always overshadowed for some reason, even though I think he's actually the best support. No,
he did get those shout out props on not being able to play engaged champs. Suck it, and then he played the engaged champs.
Fuck. Oh, it hurts me to say.
What?
Oh, close your ears, LS, before I say my most underrated right now. I think
Close
it
my
might
eyes?
be Huhi. I think Huhi's
What?
actually playing pretty well. I think he's actually playing pretty well, and he does make teams better.
He does.
And he doesn't get that much praise.
oh
He's
my
untiltable,
God.
man.
Hold on. Let me check Dom's following. Hold on. Did Angela
Oh, I'm blocked
follow
by
him
his girlflame,
recently?
by the way.
Oh, okay.
He blocked
I am
me.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you
We're
flame,
a part
if you
of
flame
what
Huhi,
are we
his
a part
girlfriend
of?
blocks you.
What are we a part of? The what is it? The Council of Virgins?
What?
Oh, I don't know.
What the fuck is it?
Is that what you
she
said?
had
I'm a
some title
virgin?
for us.
Nope. I'm noping us out of this one. I don't want to get into the Council of Virgins.
Holy
Okay.
brotherhood
Something.
of virgins.
There's some title. Anyways, yeah, there's some title about us. Like not just us, but like people that like criticize pro player like builds and items and like things that they could do better. My bad for like tweeting things. My bad that Malrong's second legendary item every game is the staff of control wards. My bad. Fucking Christ, dude. Trimby was the problem. All right.
Wait,
What
I'm
else?
unblocked?
Uh-oh.
See?
Hold on.
Holy, I'm
She heard what you
unblocked.
just
I'm
said,
no longer-
actually.
It's because I literally just praised Huhi and I got unblocked instantly. That's fucking crazy.
She actually heard what you
That
just said.
shit's nuts. Are you still blocked, LS? Are you still blocked?
Wait, let me see. Am I still
Say yes
blocked?
for content.
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Ha! You motherfucker. Say something positive about Huhi if you want to be unblocked.
All right. Next topic.
Okay. Yep, you're staying blocked.
What's the next?
It's what it is. You're staying blocked.
He has a beautiful dog. There.
That's all you could do.
What?
I
It's
actually
true.
do think that who he does have, like, I think that he's been on too many teams that have overperformed in a row for me to say that he has like no locker room. Like he makes teams better. Like people like
Look,
playing with
I'll be
Huhi.
honest. Okay, I have a bias against Hui because I was privy to some like post game lobby screenshot arguments that he was a part of with like various players.
Is this a long
And-
time ago?
No. This is not too long ago. This is like
Okay,
a year. This is like a year ago, year and a half ago, somewhere in that time frame, right? But also like The player's been around. He's been around for too long, right? The arguments that he was making with the players was just like, I don't know. Like it's just like it's like the players that buy 30 controllers and think there's no problem with it. Like I'm fully aware that is where a lot of my bias comes from, is that those arguments that I like had to read, because it just makes me think this is how he thinks and views the game, and it is so difficult for me to know that that's what he's thinking about like various situations. And I don't know, it's just really hard.
I can get past that. I mean, I've watched On buy Sork boots on Nami for like over an entire split. He's buying Sork boots on like Nami and like beating T1 and shit. Like I've gotten through people just being like intentionally dumb about the game and like, you know, just doing things that don't make sense. So I don't hold that against him too much. Like I wouldn't want to work with him, but I could acknowledge that people enjoy his presence on their team. Like all his teammates always talk well about him. He seems like the type of guy that brings the team together, and you know, he does his part. He's pretty good at engaging, which is normally his role on a lot of the teams. Like in Enchanter metas, he's not as good. But I don't know. I think that there is like an aura around him. He's able to make people better, and I appreciate that.
Okay.
So going back to the original question.
Now Dom's not only unblocked, he's followed. Jesus Christ.
Okay, going back to the original question, because I don't remember, LS. Who did you pick? Who was your?
I said Sven.
Sven. You said Sven.
Yeah.
All right, that's fine. So we'll let's track this one for the split, since it's a shortened split. Okay. Sven, I'll go tactical. Dom goes with who he for now, and we'll see how they do at the end of the split here. Last thing before we call it in this shortened episode here of Facecheck, who are the two teams that don't make it? LS, you kind of forecasted this one already. But Dom, who do you think doesn't make it? The two teams.
Yeah, I'm going to go Immortals. Oh, the next one hurts so much. I'm probably going to go Immortals and I think Dig is not good. Top 8. Yeah, like FlyQuest has to make top 8, right? It's impossible for FlyQuest to not make top 8.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they got to make top 8.
The only way they don't make top 8 is what? They lose to NRG and TL in this upcoming week, and then things get really scary.
Maybe I'll go TSM Immortals. It's tough. But I'll go TSM Immortals.
I'm going to go Immortals NRG.
I think it really depends on what Mr. Samsung does.
Yeah.
Does he leave Insanity?
Sam, don't call him Samsung.
Right. Or does he play Ruby? Because TSM seems to be the one, and I think Rich getting Cassante is very fun to watch, and it just gives them so much more firepower, and Filthy Frank has been playing well. Also, Diamond's played okay. He's also entered a couple of games, but
I mean, he God, I want Diamond to be good so bad. I like, he's somebody who I really appreciate his intelligence about the game. Like, he's somebody who you can talk to the game and you're like, all right, this guy like is thinking about the game, but just some of the things that I see on stage, it's so hard to forget. Like that Rel game. Oh, it's so hard to get past that Rel game. It's really, really difficult. And I want him to do well. Oh, by the way, LS, I need to bring it up. Did you see what Quid did with his Nico items on his first base Nico, and then what he built?
No, what? Or I mean, maybe I did, but I'm not remembering.
Oh, what? Baby, it's a fucking banger.
Wait. Okay.
Does he know?
His Nico game was where he was actually hard winning lane, right, against Eminus, and then he died.
But you know what items he built? Like, you know what he I'll tell you.
Oh wait, didn't he do like Dark Seal corrupting Dorons, etc.?
No, it's nothing like, it's nothing normal. It's like just so bad I need to tell you. Okay, so what he did is he based, right? And he bought a lost chapter. He bought a lost chapter. He's going pro develop,
and then he sold it.
And then he sold his lost chapter in the next base. So he just fucking nuked his economy out of nowhere. Just personally, he just fucking stabbed himself while playing Nico. Dude. That shit was banger, man. That was so crazy. I love that.
I don't know. You know what's actually crazy to me, by the way, is this split. I am completely floored that no one is doing Sapphire Futures. Because it's like so impossible to stop now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like you can literally get it on the first 3 waves. I'm fucking blown away. I don't know. I'm actually just blown away that no one's doing it.
I'm still thinking.
Especially like Annie. Annie can do, like, there's no way to stop Annie.
Well, I mean, Annie, a lot of players are going pro to belt these days, so I guess it just depends on the game.
Maybe
They don't know about Tibbers and Genius Hunter interaction.
Yeah. No, I mean that's pretty good with like Ludens, for example.
Yeah. Really stupid. If chat doesn't know, or if people that watch the video don't know, basically, if you have 5 Ingenious Hunter stacks, if you have 5 Ingenious Hunter stacks and you summon Tibbers on someone with stun, Tibbers' ticks and his autos count individually towards Ludens, so you'll get 2 Ludens procs off almost instantly on the stun. So you just get double Luden on stun. And there's other champions that have unique interactions like this. Like I've been trying to push Aurelion Soul Ludens, and all people have to do is go into Practice Tool and literally see it. But everyone and their mother builds fucking Leandries because they can't go into Practice Tool. So that's kind of fun.
Yeah. And just in case people know, like Ingenious Hunter not only works on like items that have actives, it also works on just any item that has like even passives.
Right.
So for example, tier will stack, like it'll reset the
Tier will
amount
stack
of
faster.
Tier will stack faster with Ingenious Hunter. That's why when people go the one-shot Hacker and build, they go Ingenious Hunter for stacks on tier. Works on like Sheen procs. Like pretty much everything is just faster when it comes to items. Like it's
right.
Yeah, all ability haste.
give me FlyQuest's 100 Thieves. I think those are the 2 teams that don't make it. I'm worried.
What?
I'm very worried for FlyQuest.
The hell, Degon? What the fuck?
I know. I was thinking about it this whole time.
Title of the video: Degon hates
games
Papa
left.
Smithy. Holy shit!
I was thinking about this whole time, and I'm like, Immortals is bad. Don't get me wrong, but like, I'm really worried about FlyQuest. I'm very worried about FlyQuest. Like, maybe I'm wrong, and they get 3 wins this week, and they're at 3-6, and it'll be good. But like, 0-6 is such a big hurdle. Like, this is historically.
Oh,
rough.
it's not that big of a hurdle. They have 12 games left, and there's 3 teams that are 2-4. They're only 2 games down on 3 different teams, and they have 2/3 of the season still left.
I know, but come on,
It's fine. It's gonna be fine, guys. It's gonna be fine.
They've also had a decently hard strength of schedule, I would say.
All right, let us know in the chat and in the comments who you think's predictions are the most correct, right? You had Immortals TSM, you had Immortals Energy, and then you had me, FlyQuest 100 Thieves. I mean, oh gosh, I'm just mathing it out. I love all those guys over there at FlyQuest, but this is tough. All right, anyway. Okay.
Let them cook.
We had our early MVPs. Who were your MVPs? And then we'll call it a day. MVP pick by the end of the season. End of the season. Not where we're at now, but end of the season.
I mean, it's just gonna be Berserker, no? Oh, well, actually, hold on. ADC meta just changed. Maybe it's Jungle. Maybe it's Blabber again.
I believe in JoJo.
Okay.
I believe.
JoJo has a pretty good argument for it, just because he's a mid laner and he's not C9.
Yeah,
So
I mean, and then also just look at his teammates, like his teammates.
right. But yeah. So I think there's the bias factor. The LCS doesn't want to keep giving the awards to the same people. You know what I mean? That type of shit. Unfortunately.
I mean, JoJo's also somebody who's like a fan favorite. You know, like, people want to see him do well.
Exactly.
He's-
Yeah.
North American, like, if he has an argument, I think he's winning. If there's an option, if he's close, it's like him and an import, and it's close. I think it just will go to JoJo by default.
I think it's impressive that he's been performing this well in an ADC meta, as you said. So I think that's where you get kind of those bonus points. Yeah, I would say it's those things, but we'll see. Again, still an early split, and maybe I'm wrong about FlyQuest. I'm still hurting on that one. Okay, last segment for everyone, for our friends. It's time to do Facecheck bets. What is Facecheck bets? Facecheck all in. There we go. So we're going in. We haven't done it in a long time. Thanks to our friends over at Esportsbet. We'll be using the odds there right now on Tuesday at 6:52 PST. These are the odds that we have right now for our picks. Let's take a look at some of the games that we feel confident on, or to play, I guess, the favorite or the underdog. Let's see. All right, guys, if you see one, go ahead, call it out, and we'll take a peek.
Yeah, I mean, I'll start here. So what I did, and I've already put this bet in, is I parlayed Cloud9 versus TL and Cloud9 versus EG. Because if you parlay both, it's like 2.2 odds or something. And yeah, I just put like 100 on that, and that was my bet of the week. I think C9 is just better than these teams. I mean, I don't know if it hits like every time. It's not as sure of a bet as like the other ones that I've went for, which have been almost all correct on this show. But this is one where I just think that they win more than the odds. So I think when you combine it, the odds that I got them at were like 2.2 or something like that, and I think that's good enough. I mean, I do think Cloud9 is just the best team.
Boom.
I mean, I think Fly versus NRG is actually really good odds for Fly, especially if you look at some of the ways that Fly lost their games. Like they were really far ahead and then they inted. But I don't know. You know, I'm not sure.
This is the match this is the match I think they need to win. To save the season. They can lose the match against TL or whatever. And
if they lose to NRG and go 0-8, then.
And then they beat Immortals and they get a win on the board, and then other teams don't win too many. I mean, I still think it's fine. I mean, it's literally just the beginning of the season. Like,
it's not so many games. If you're 1-8,
yeah, you realize that like to get into playoffs, you only need to be like 5-13 on average. Like that's what like you need to win 5 games over the course of the entire split.
Sure.
It's not hard.
And then they look at themselves and say, "We've only beaten Immortals. We lost to..."
And then you're like, oh, we have another game against Immortals, and you think about the other games that they played, and they feel like most of them are winnable, right? Like they're gonna think that TSM is mega winnable. Like, I mean, TSM is mega winnable. They're gonna think Dig is mega winnable. Like that's 2 more. Like that's 2 more instantly. They probably think 100 Thieves is mega winnable. I mean, you just have like all these ones that are easy, and then if they get in any good form, I mean, they should be better than these other teams.
Sorry, I started laughing, Dom, because I was like, why am I feeling, 1, a sense of panic, and 2, that this is familiar? And I was like, wow, your logic there is literally what we thought on Golden Guardians. It was literally that kind of like, like we'll beat some of these teams that were supposed to be or whatever, and all our wins came.
Yeah, the difference is that they have Impact as their top laner and not Lorlo. Like when they look at the roster, they're not like they're like, who do we have here? Oh, we have Vulcan and Impact, not Lorlo and Matt. Like that's the difference, Tigon.
I'm sorry, Samson.
Whatever happened to Matt?
Into this one. He coached for a little bit over at EG.
Matt
and
Alento.
Stepped away.
He's been gone for 2 years.
Yep. He's married, so he was doing the married.
Wait, Matt is married?
Yeah, he was married pretty early on. I think he was married when he was playing for us.
What? Wait, when he was playing for you guys, so he was 20 and he was married?
Yep.
That's kind of nuts, yeah.
It was true love. It was true love.
Holy based Matt.
Okay.
And instead of having his profile picture as him and his wife, he has him and Tyler 1. That's fucking
amazing. I mean, I think that's what we all want.
Yeah, understandable for sure.
I mean,
what?
What's your profile pic, Dom?
It's my IWD. It's my logo.
Okay.
But if I was married, it'd be me and Tyler 1. That's what it is.
Michaela just posted.
All right, there it is. Boom.
Oh my god. Michaela.
Wait, let me do my pick. Let me do my pick, and then we'll do the Michaela one. Let me do my pick. Give me TL. I think it was TL. TL over Golden Guardians. For some reason, TL is the underdog against Golden Guardians, and I feel like the form is good there. So it's 2.1 it's 2.1 odds for TL to win straight up. Thanks to our friends over at Esportsbet for sponsoring the show. Give us the ability to put on the content for you guys. Again, LCS has been the region that we love, the region that we cover, the region that we've all spent some time playing our trade at, and we're hoping that things continue to get better. So we'll call it there. Thank you so much guys for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. We'll see you guys next time.